There is a dangerous illusion almost every human being lives under. The illusion that their mind is working for them, that their thoughts are trustworthy, that their emotions are honest, that their instincts naturally lead toward truth. But history tells a very different story. Before we begin, understand something carefully. This video is not about becoming emotionless. It is not about suppressing your thoughts, and it is not about paranoia. This is about learning one of the rarest psychological skills a human being can develop: the ability to observe your own mind before obeying it. Because most people spend their entire lives reacting automatically, they become angry without awareness, fearful without questioning why, manipulated without noticing, controlled by emotion while believing they are thinking clearly. But in this video, we are going to explore a truth that thinkers like Niccolò Machiavelli understood centuries ago: that the human mind is not naturally loyal to truth. It is loyal to survival. And once you truly understand that, you begin seeing human behavior differently, including your own. You will begin noticing how fear changes perception, how ego distorts reality, how conditioning shapes identity, how emotions silently control decision-making, how modern systems manipulate attention and thought. But most importantly, you will begin developing awareness, the ability to pause before reacting, to question your own impulses, to separate truth from emotional illusion, to recognize when your mind is protecting you instead of guiding you. And that skill changes everything. Because a person who understands their own mind becomes harder to manipulate, calmer under pressure, more emotionally disciplined, more aware of hidden motivations, more conscious in everyday life. This is not just philosophy. This is psychological self-defense, and by the end of this video, you may begin seeing your own thoughts in a way you never have before. History tells a very different story, and few men understood this earlier than Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli spent his life studying human behavior, power, deception, fear, ambition, survival, and manipulation. While most philosophers searched for virtue, Machiavelli searched for patterns. He observed kings, priests, soldiers, politicians, and ordinary citizens, and beneath all their masks, he noticed something disturbing. Human beings are deeply irrational creatures pretending to be rational. A man may swear loyalty today and betray tomorrow. A crowd may praise someone one week and destroy him the next. Fear changes morality. Desire changes principles. Power changes personality. And the most dangerous part is this: most people never realize how unstable their own minds truly are. The human mind is not a calm observer of reality. It is a survival machine. Its first priority is not truth. Its first priority is protection. That single realization changes everything, because once survival becomes the priority, the mind begins distorting reality itself. It hides painful truths, it invents excuses, it rewrites memories, it avoids discomfort, it seeks validation, it protects ego, it creates narratives that preserve emotional stability, even when those narratives are false. This is why two people can experience the exact same event and remember it completely differently. The mind edits reality constantly, not because it is evil, but because it is defensive. Modern psychology now confirms what ancient observers already suspected. Human beings are filled with cognitive biases, confirmation bias, emotional reasoning, self-serving bias, projection, selective memory. The mind does not simply receive reality, it interprets reality according to fear, desire, insecurity, conditioning, and emotional survival. And once you understand this, a terrifying question appears. If the mind can manipulate reality inside your own head, then how much of your life has been shaped by illusion? Think carefully. How many decisions were driven by fear disguised as logic? How many relationships were controlled by insecurity pretending to be love? How many ambitions came from social pressure rather than genuine desire? How many opinions were inherited instead of discovered? Most people never ask these questions because questioning the mind feels dangerous. The ego depends on certainty. It wants to believe, I know who I am. I understand reality. My thoughts are trustworthy. But Machiavelli understood something uncomfortable very early. People are easiest to manipulate when they believe they are immune to manipulation. That includes manipulating themselves. This is why intelligent people are not automatically wise. A person may possess knowledge and still remain a prisoner of emotional illusion. The mind is capable of building entire identities around self-deception. Some people spend decades believing they are good people while secretly driven by vanity. Others believe they are victims while unconsciously sabotaging themselves. Some believe they are independent thinkers while repeating ideas inherited from society, family, religion, culture, or political tribes. The mind is extraordinarily skilled at protecting its own narrative, and once a false narrative becomes identity, defending the illusion becomes more important than discovering truth. That is why human beings resist uncomfortable information so aggressively, not because the information is false, but because it threatens the structure of the self. Machiavelli observed this repeatedly in politics. Leaders lied to themselves constantly. Citizens lied to themselves constantly. Nations lied to themselves constantly. Everyone claimed virtue while secretly pursuing power, fear, survival, status, or control. And beneath all of it was the same unstable force, the human mind trying to protect itself. This is why self-awareness is rare. Most people do not observe their thoughts. They become their thoughts. They obey every emotion automatically. Anger says attack, fear says hide, desire says chase, ego says defend, and the person follows blindly. A puppet convinced it is free. But the first step toward clarity is brutal. You must accept the possibility that your own mind is not fully trustworthy, not because you are broken, but because the mind itself was never designed for perfect truth. It was designed for survival, and survival often requires distortion. That is the truth Machiavelli understood early. Once you understand that the mind is not naturally loyal to truth, another question appears. If the mind distorts reality for survival, then when exactly does it begin turning against its owner? The answer is uncomfortable. Very early, long before adulthood, long before independence, long before critical thinking fully develops. Most human beings are psychologically shaped during childhood, when the mind is at its most impressionable state. At that stage, survival depends entirely on adaptation. A child learns quickly what gains approval, what causes rejection, what creates safety, what triggers punishment, what emotions must be hidden, what behaviors are rewarded. And slowly, the mind begins constructing a personality designed for survival. Not truth, survival. This is where many people unknowingly lose themselves. A child rejected emotionally may become obsessed with achievement later in life. A child raised around anger may become hypervigilant and anxious. A child constantly criticized may develop perfectionism. Someone ignored may become addicted to attention. Someone controlled may become addicted to power. The adult personality often becomes a sophisticated survival response created years earlier. But the mind does something even more dangerous. It hides this process from conscious awareness. It convinces the person, this is simply who you are. And so people spend entire lifetimes defending identities they never consciously chose. Machiavelli understood that human behavior is rarely driven by ideals alone. Beneath morality, logic, and public image, there are hidden motivations constantly influencing action. Fear of humiliation, fear of weakness, fear of abandonment, fear of losing control. The mind learns these fears deeply and begins organizing reality around avoiding them. That is why many people sabotage themselves repeatedly without understanding why. The conscious mind says, I want success, but the unconscious mind says, success may expose me to judgment, and the person hesitates. The conscious mind says, I want love, but the deeper mind says, love creates vulnerability, and the person withdraws. This internal conflict exists inside millions of people. The tragedy is that most never recognize it, because the mind is extremely convincing. It can make fear feel like wisdom. It can make avoidance feel like intelligence. It can make emotional reactions feel like objective truth. And modern life amplifies this problem constantly. Social media trains comparison. Advertising trains inadequacy. Politics trains outrage. Algorithms train emotional impulsiveness. Entire industries now compete for attention by manipulating psychological weaknesses. Fear keeps people engaged. Anger keeps people reacting. Validation keeps people addicted. And the mind responds automatically because it evolved for survival in environments very different from the modern world. The human brain was not designed for endless stimulation, constant comparison, infinite information, and 24-hour emotional triggering. Yet millions of people expose their minds to this every day without realizing the psychological consequences. The result is mental exhaustion disguised as normal life. People no longer know whether their thoughts are truly theirs. Opinions become downloaded from tribes. Emotions become reactions to algorithms. Identity becomes performance. And slowly, the individual loses the ability to sit quietly with reality itself. This is why silence feels uncomfortable for many people. Without distraction, the mind begins revealing what has been buried underneath. Fear, loneliness, confusion, meaninglessness, unresolved pain, so the person returns immediately to stimulation. More scrolling, more noise, more entertainment, more distraction, anything to avoid confronting the instability inside their own mind. Machiavelli observed a similar pattern in politics centuries ago. People often prefer comforting illusions over difficult truths. A beautiful lie is emotionally easier to accept than an uncomfortable reality. This is why populations can be manipulated so easily by fear, symbols, identity, and emotion. And the same mechanism exists inside the individual mind. The mind manipulates itself constantly. It edits memory. It protects ego. It hides contradiction. It justifies weakness. It avoids painful self-examination. A person may believe they are pursuing happiness while actually escaping emptiness. Another may believe they are pursuing justice while secretly pursuing revenge. Someone may believe they are acting rationally while being completely controlled by emotion beneath the surface. And this is the most dangerous illusion of all, the belief that awareness automatically exists. In reality, most human behavior is unconscious. Automatic reactions, conditioned patterns, emotional programming. The mind speaks first, and the person obeys without investigation. That is why genuine self-awareness is rare. Because observing the mind honestly requires something most people avoid: the willingness to see themselves without illusion. And that process is deeply uncomfortable, because eventually a person begins realizing, many of my thoughts were never truly mine. Many of my fears were inherited. Many of my desires were programmed. Many of my reactions were conditioned. This realization can feel destabilizing at first, but it is also the beginning of freedom. Because the moment you notice the machinery of the mind, you are no longer completely trapped inside it. If the mind can distort reality, if emotion can overpower reason, if identity itself can be shaped unconsciously, then one final question remains. What part of you notices all of this happening? Think carefully. You can observe your thoughts, you can notice fear, you can witness anger rising, you can feel anxiety moving through your body, you can even recognize contradiction inside yourself, which means something important. There is a difference between the mind producing thought and the awareness observing thought. Most people never fully realize this distinction. They become fused with every emotion and impulse that appears inside them. The mind says, "You are a failure," and they believe it instantly. The mind says, "Attack," and they obey. The mind says, "Escape discomfort," and they run automatically. A lifetime passes this way, reaction after reaction, impulse after impulse, emotion after emotion, no observation, no distance, no awareness, just automatic psychological movement. But occasionally, a human being notices the machinery itself, and that changes everything. Because once you can observe the mind, you are no longer completely trapped inside it. This does not mean thoughts disappear. Fear still appears, anger still appears, temptation still appears, ego still appears. But awareness creates separation. The thought says, "You are worthless." And instead of instantly believing it, the observer asks, "Who is speaking?" That single moment of observation weakens the illusion. Machiavelli understood that human beings are easily manipulated because most people remain unconscious of their own motivations. They act emotionally while convincing themselves they are acting rationally. A frightened population becomes controllable. A desperate man becomes predictable. An insecure leader becomes dangerous. The inability to observe the mind creates vulnerability. And this applies not only to politics or power, it applies to ordinary life. A person who cannot observe anger becomes controlled by anger. A person who cannot observe desire becomes controlled by desire. A person who cannot observe ego becomes controlled by ego. Most people believe freedom means doing whatever you feel. But that is not freedom, that is obedience to impulse. Real freedom begins when you stop reacting automatically, when you pause before speaking, pause before judging, pause before believing every thought the mind produces. Because not every thought deserves trust. The modern world makes this even more difficult. Human attention is constantly under attack. Notifications, advertisements, entertainment, outrage, noise. Algorithms designed to trigger emotional reactions every minute of the day. And slowly the mind loses stillness. Many people can no longer sit in silence for even a few minutes without reaching for stimulation. Why? Because silence exposes the hidden activity of the mind. Without distraction, unresolved fears begin surfacing. Regret, loneliness, confusion, buried insecurity. So the person escapes again. More scrolling, more noise, more stimulation. But avoidance strengthens unconsciousness. Observation weakens it. This is why nearly every serious philosophical tradition throughout history emphasized self-observation in some form. Not because thoughts are evil, but because unconscious thoughts become chains. The Stoics understood this. Eastern philosophers understood this. Religious mystics understood this. And although Machiavelli approached human nature politically rather than spiritually, he understood something equally important. Human beings are most dangerous when they lack awareness of themselves. A person unaware of greed will justify corruption. A person unaware of fear will justify cruelty. A person unaware of insecurity will chase power endlessly. The mind can rationalize almost anything once survival or ego becomes threatened. That is why self-awareness is not weakness. It is defense against self-deception. And perhaps this is the hardest truth of all. The greatest manipulator you will ever encounter may not be society, may not be politics, may not be other people, but the unconscious machinery inside your own mind. A machine trained by fear, memory, conditioning, ego, pain, and survival. But awareness changes the relationship completely. Because once the observer awakens, the mind is no longer the absolute ruler. Thoughts still arrive, but now they are examined. Emotions still appear, but now they are questioned. Impulses still rise, but now they are observed before action. And inside that small space between thought and reaction, something powerful begins to form. Clarity. Not perfect clarity, not permanent peace, but consciousness. The ability to see the mind without instantly becoming the mind. Most people never reach this point. They spend their lives absorbed inside psychological storms they never learn to observe. Every fear becomes identity, every emotion becomes truth, every impulse becomes action. But the rare individual begins watching carefully, watching the patterns, watching the reactions, watching the ego defend itself, watching fear disguise itself as logic, and through observation, illusion slowly weakens. Perhaps that is why genuine wisdom has always been rare, because it requires a human being to do something profoundly uncomfortable, to look directly into their own mind without immediately trusting everything they see. The mind is powerful, useful, creative, necessary for survival, but without awareness, it easily becomes a prison mistaken for reality. And maybe that was the truth Machiavelli understood early, that the greatest battle is not merely against external deception, but against the deception happening silently within ourselves every single day. We almost are here at the end of the video. Let's have recap that what this video really revealed. 1. Your mind is not automatically loyal to truth. 2. The human mind was designed first for survival, not clarity. 3. Fear, insecurity, ego, and emotional protection constantly distort perception. Niccolò Machiavelli understood early that human beings are deeply irrational while pretending to be rational. 4. Most people do not truly observe their thoughts, they obey them automatically. 5. Childhood conditioning shapes much of adult personality and behavior. 6. Many fears, reactions, and desires are inherited or programmed unconsciously. 7. Modern systems continuously manipulate the mind through fear, outrage, comparison, and stimulation. 8. The unconscious mind can quietly sabotage relationships, ambition, peace, and decision-making. 9. Real awareness begins when you stop identifying with every thought and emotion. 10. Thoughts are not always truth. 11. Emotions are not always wisdom. 12. Impulses are not always freedom. 13. The observer within you, the awareness watching the mind, is where clarity begins. 14. Freedom starts the moment you pause before automatically reacting. And perhaps this is where this knowledge becomes practical. Because this is not only philosophy, this affects everyday life. The next time anger rises, you may stop yourself before destroying a relationship. The next time fear appears, you may recognize that your mind is trying to protect you, not necessarily tell you the truth. The next time insecurity speaks, you may question whether that voice truly belongs to you or to years of conditioning and survival. You begin reacting less automatically. You become calmer under pressure, harder to manipulate, more aware of emotional traps, more conscious of your habits, impulses, and decisions. And slowly, life changes. Not because the world changes, but because you finally begin seeing the machinery operating inside yourself. Most people spend their entire lives imprisoned inside thoughts they never questioned. But awareness creates distance, and inside that distance, clarity begins. Before we end, our next video will explore something even deeper. The hidden voice inside you. What Socrates tried to warn about. I'm currently researching and building that episode carefully, and it will probably be released very soon once everything is properly structured. And honestly, if these ideas genuinely resonate with you, if you're learning something from these videos, if some part of this is helping you understand yourself or the world more clearly, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next episode. This series is for people who question deeply, people who observe, people who want to expand their mind beyond automatic thinking and surface-level distraction. So stay with us if you are a seeker. But if you are only looking for fast noise, endless scrolling, TikTok vibes, and quick stimulation, I understand that too. Until next time, stay strong.